is players are coming into the leagues. ESPN did a whole thing about this. I think it was 2017, about how players are coming into the league now because of the AAU circuit and because of all the basketball that kids are playing growing up now to stay in recruiting circles and to play basketball, to advance their careers.
Yep.
Guys are entering the league now at 18, 19, 20 years old with the tendons and ligaments of 30, 31, 32-year-olds. It's a scientific thing.
Yeah.
And a scientific thing I am not qualified to or am going to explain. It is, you can find this article. It's on ESPN.
Yeah.
It's not currently on ESPN. I forget. Russell Baxter, I believe, wrote it. So on top of all that, you're getting this 82 game schedule, and then you're getting a 4-7 game playoff rounds, where the games very quickly start going every other day. On top of a style of play that is faster, more spread out, more up and down. Lately, it's been very physical to boot. It is not tenable, I don't think. Like what the NBA is looking at is a player safety problem right now. You have 8 Achilles tears this year around the NBA.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's too many. And now you have stars. You have Jason Tatum, one of the faces of your league, ideally over the next 5 or 6 years. Had his career altered by this. Tyrese Halliburton, same deal. You got robbed of an awesome Game 7 because you still got a pretty good game. You got robbed of an awesome Game 7 because of this injury to Tyrese Halliburton. Damian Lillard isn't going to get to ride off into the sunset because, hey, you know what? His career might just kind of be over now.
Yeah. And a team owes him $55 million in each of and then I think 60 next year. Man. 55 next year, 60, 59 the year after that.
So I think at some point people always go, well, the NBA is not going to cut their season short. Are players going to take less money? Like, man, they might.
Okay,
so they might if it means not tearing their Achilles.
There's a couple of problems that I think that need to be worked out. Number one, having kids play one sport is not the right way to do things.
That's correct.
Right? So that's number one. Like when I was a kid, I played baseball, I played football, I played basketball, I played volleyball. Like you play all kinds of sports all the time. That is not at all what happens now.
Nope.
Like my oldest played so much soccer, competitive soccer, that he overdeveloped his quads so bad that we thought he pulled a groin, but it wasn't that. It's that his quads were so overdeveloped that it grabbed the top of his hip muscle and pulled it into the hip socket.
Gross.
So we had to go do PT and figure out a way to get his glutes to fire and his hamstrings to engage. And these are the things that happen. Like you go out to, again, because I help.
Sports specialization. You mean.
Yeah, with sports specialization. So I go out and I try to work with the kids on the soccer team. You go, okay, who wants to be the goalkeeper? And everyone just kind of looks around like, I don't want to be the goalkeeper. And then you get one kid to raise your hands like, okay, what other sports do you play? Well, I don't really play any other sports. Like, what do you mean? They don't know how to field a ground ball like a shortstop. They don't know how to go up high for a
rebound.
For a rebound, or like a football player knows how to go over the middle and reach up and catch a ball above his head. Don't know how to do it. They don't know how to make a triangle with their hands. You're sitting here like, what in the world is happening? But with the basketball kids, they are playing nonstop, and it's the same repetitive motion again and again and again. So they're putting all this strain on very specific body parts that are going to be the body parts that break down when they're in their 20s and 30s. And that's part of the problem. The other problem I'm going to point out is that NBA teams do not share information with each other about injury risk and about injury maintenance. They don't. It's proprietary technology. So when I tell you guys about how the players come in, before they go out on the court, they jump on these metal plates, right? They're these big, like rubber, like mats with these metal plates that are inserted that like count deceleration, acceleration, like force, all that stuff. And the teams are like monitoring. They go out, they warm up, they come back, they do it one more time before they go into the locker room and get ready for the game. It's a team's way of just monitoring a player's like physical like readiness, right? So if you're wearing like a aura ring, an aura ring tells you what your readiness score is. And if you're like, oh man, my readiness score says I'm like a 65, and you go out and you walk and you're like, I literally feel like a 65 today. That's not good. Yeah. And then other days you're like, oh, my readiness says I'm like a 92. You get out there, you're like, holy cow, I'm like springing. Like there is technology that's out there that does help with these things, but the teams aren't sharing it with each other. And so there isn't some massive database that's telling everybody, hey, this is what our predictions are for this type of injury. You can see a player his performance start to lag, and you say, okay, we need to cut back on practice time, or we need to shave some minutes off in a game, or maybe he needs to take 2 games off, right? And you see if their body recovers. Those are things that are happening behind the scenes. But when you get to game 7, when you get to even a game 6 in the NBA finals, like all bets are off. Half of these players are out there with injuries that shouldn't be playing, but that's the game. And so I don't blame Ty. I don't blame the medical. I don't blame it. Bad things happen. He took a risk. The team took a risk. They knew the risk 100%. He knew the risk. And he said, okay, I'm going to put my career on the line and go out there trying to win game 7.
Yeah, man. Like that, the need for everything to become a take is just like, it's not anyone's fault.
Yeah.
Like if this was November, Tyrese Halliburton would not have been playing. Facts. The minute he strained his calf, he would have been out 2-3 weeks, however long necessary. Remember Trey Lyles before the 23-24 season dealt with the calf injury and was out like weeks.
Well, same thing this season. He sat for a huge stretch of time this season.
This year?
No, it was both.
Oh, okay.
He coming into last season, he strained his calf, and they sat him for like first 4 weeks of the season.
It was a long time.
And then this season again, he had a moment where he had a calf strain.
Yeah.
Again, like you can predict, like the calf is like the easiest one of all of them.
Yeah.
It's the easiest one to predict a catastrophic injury.
Yep.
And that's why I said it last week. Like you could easily like watch him go out there and everything's fine, and then it's not, and it's over.
That's literally what happened. Game 6, like, oh, okay, yeah, not 100%, but looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Cooking in game 1 and game 7 yesterday, and then one step didn't even like not just a step forward to go to dribble and just.
And I did not want to be right at all.
No.
At all. But like this is the sport.
Well, it's the risk that's inherent here. It's why this wasn't oh man, he's got a shoulder issue that might affect his bicep.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't, no, everybody knows, hey, the risk with a calf, the reason this is such a monumental deal on should he play, should he not? It's not, man, he's going to play on a sprained ankle and he might turn that ankle again.
Yeah.
It's, hey, he's going to play on this calf and he might pop his Achilles.
It's just like if he has a partially torn ACL, bad idea.
Right.
Bad idea. Like,
but if he had that and was able to walk, he was going to play. Like that's the thing is nobody lied to Tyrese Halliburton here.
Nope.
Tyrese Halliburton was not forced to play. He said, this is game 7. I've waited my whole life for this. I'm 48 minutes away from an NBA championship. I can walk. I can conceive. I can go out there and I can give effort. I'm going to play. And the worst possible outcome happened. It's awful. But I bet if Tyrese Halliburton was sitting here right now, we say, hey, do you regret it? He would say no.
Yeah.
He would tell you no. Do you know what he would regret? I imagine. I know this is how I would feel. Again, I don't want to prescribe my feelings to Tyrese Halliburton, but if this is me, I would regret not playing. I'd regret if I went, hey, you know what? Now I got this calf. I might hurt my Achilles. You guys get it. I'm going to sit on the bench. I'll cheer you on. Go get him, guys, in game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
And then you lose and you're like, hey man, I could have probably helped.
Yeah.
So it's a horrible, awful, the most unfortunate outcome that nobody wanted.
Yep.
But I saw the immediate reaction yesterday was fire the Pacers medical staff. Like, they didn't tell him they weren't lying to him. They knew. Everybody knew the risk here.
Yep.
It's not Tyrese Halliburton's an idiot. No, man. Tyrese Halliburton's a damn competitor. That's why you play this game, is to play for an NBA championship. One game away from an NBA championship. All those AAU games you played, all the college games, all the early mornings, all the practices for that moment. And the worst outcome came. And that sucks.
Yeah. I'd even, Secure Bagley in the chat says, I do think this is the last calf strain that players will try to play with.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. The same situation happens next year. There's a very good chance a player does the exact same thing.
Do you know why we know this? Because it happened to Kevin Durant 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And Tyrese Halliburton said, I don't care. So,
you know why we also know this? Because there are football players who go out there with 10 concussions and still play. They still play.
A level of competitive psychopathness. Now, if this is game 1 of the first round, and he's dealing with a calf strain, maybe they handle it differently. But you're 48 minutes away from the final, from hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy.
Yeah.
I don't blame anyone in this situation. Like, it's just a brutal, awful thing that happened.
Bad things happen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I do wonder, our guy, Dr. Nirav Pandya, friend of the program, who is the professor of UCSF orthopedic surgery and the director of sports medicine at Benioff Children's Hospital, said this yesterday. Soft tissue injuries defined these NBA playoffs, which I kind of agree with. Mm-hmm. 3 Achilles tears in the playoffs is not normal. Warriors losing due to Curry due to a hamstring, and Denver being impacted by Aaron Gordon's hamstring as well. The NBA has to look at making some changes. So somebody said, what changes would you make? And he said, space out the games in the regular season and/or decrease the number of regular season games, no back-to-backs, and increasing the duration of time between playoff games. None of that seems, I'm sure there's a technical business thing that matters here that I'm missing. And I will put my hand up and understand that. If you're the NBA, why are you not like, yeah, you know what? Good idea. We're not going to limit the number of games, because I genuinely don't think there's anything that could happen that the league would cut the number of games from their schedule. Mm-hmm. But why not just say, okay, hey, we're going to space these games out. We're going to super limit back-to-back. Every team has 2 back-to-backs a year, whatever it is. And we're going to take this thing into mid-July. What's stopping them from doing that?
It's a great question, because I got to be honest, over the last couple of years, they're shortening the days in the season, and they're doing things like adding the in-season tournament in. That adds more stress. They elongated the NBA All-Star Weekend. It's no longer NBA All-Star Weekend. It's a week.
Right.
But they also shortened when the date of the season starts. So it used to be like 5 days earlier we'd start. We used to start training camp the last week of September. Mm-hmm. Now training camp starts the first week of October. Mm-hmm. And so they took away another week at the beginning of the season. And so they keep compressing the schedule. They eliminated 4 games in 5 nights, but they didn't eliminate 5 games in 7 nights. Mm-hmm. So you can play 2, have a day off, play 1, have a day off, play 2 again. And then you can have a day off, play another 2, and you can perpetually be stuck in 5 games in 7 nights.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. Then there's the air travel. And I know they're staying in 5-star hotels, and they're
sure.
But that doesn't matter. You're still, your body clock is all messed up. Mm-hmm. Everything is all messed up.
And and I get the travel thing. That's great for hey, the Kings have to fly to Boston, and they're going to stay in Boston. They're going to play against New York, and they're going to play against the Nets. They're going to fly. Okay, like that's fine. But when it doesn't matter what type of travel you're taking, when you're going to Texas and then Oklahoma City and then Minnesota, and then you got a game down in Atlanta, and then on the way back you got to stop in Utah. Like, there's no amount of travel that makes that okay. Nope. No type of travel that makes that normal. So yeah, man, I'm sure they're trying to, by shortening everything, they're trying to like create urgency, right? We're not going to limit the number of games because that's the thing the NFL has, right? There's 17 games. It's just every game matters so much. And so it's like the NBA is trying to manufacture this by taking the 82 game season, just kind of truncating it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just gonna shorten it just a little bit. And it doesn't, all it does is put additional strain on their players.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that you're seeing these wear and tear injuries on players, you know, with older players. Dame, who's played so many freaking games, so many minutes, like it sucks, but it feels like, man, it's a little bit preventable. Steph Curry hurting his hamstring. Hey, you know what? 37-year-old had a grade 1 hamstring injury. All right, you know, stuff happens. But when you've got 3 separate dudes with Achilles tears, 3 stars,
yeah,
to boot, and I don't say that because stars matter more, but if you're the league, that puts your red flags up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, like 2 years ago, the Kings won 46 games, right?
Uh-huh.
But from on March 20th, they started a road trip: Raptors, Wizards, Magic. So they fly to the East Coast, and that's not even
Toronto, DC, Orlando.
Yeah, that's not even like. So then they come home, and they play 5 games.
Okay.
And then they go back on the road for Knicks, Boston, Nets, Thunder. So between March 20th and April 9th, they had 7 games on the road, 2 trips to the East Coast. And then in the middle of that, they had 6 games at home. In like a 19-day stretch, you had 13 games. And of those 13 games, 2 sets of them are on the East Coast. And you know what happened? Malik Monk got hurt, and Kevin Huerter got hurt, and the Kings didn't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's like these schedule anomalies that can't happen anymore. Late in the season, you're making a team fly to the East Coast twice. It just doesn't make any sense, man. No. So they've got to rework some of that stuff and just be more conscious of what's happening. Yeah. But you know,